Imagine you're walking home from school one afternoon. You pause to speak with 2 other students before going on your way. A couple of hours later, you're at home with your sibling. You hear a knock on the door, and a police officer enters. The 2 kids you spoke to earlier are dead. You're arrested, charged with murder, and with no proper evidence given, sentenced to death. You never see your family again. How would you feel? Alone? Scared? Hopeless? And yes, this did actually happen. On the 24th of March, 1944, 2 young girls, Betty and Mary, were murdered. The culprit was never found. Instead, an innocent African-American 14-year-old boy, George Steiny, was executed on the 16th of June that same year. This has to be one of the greatest miscarriages of justice in modern history. George was not even given a chance. But all this could have been avoided. George could have been given a second chance to be proven innocent. The only thing standing in the way was the death penalty. I guess you're thinking that was pretty bad, but it was a long time ago and things have changed. Well, no, they haven't. The death penalty still exists in 58 countries, including America. And although the numbers are decreasing, it just isn't good enough. In Texas alone, 551 people have been executed since 1976 and counting. And in countries like Iran and China, there are way more. It has also been found that 1 in 25 people executed in the United States are likely to be innocent. And that's a lot of people. About 22 out of the 551 people who were executed in Texas. At least being executed would be a quick death, right? Well, it's not. The methods used to kill people are horrible and inhuman. Let's start with the way George was executed, the electric chair. This method was created as an alternative to hanging, apparently being more humane, but it really isn't. Both these methods are extremely painful ways to die. George would have had to go through an extremely painful death for a 14-year-old. However, I'm not going to go into exactly what happens when somebody is executed in the electric chair, but let's just say it can include people catching on fire. It's pretty bad. Other methods include the firing squad, the gas chambers, and lethal injections. Lethal injections are the least painful and most humane method, but due to the expense of the chemicals needed, it often can't be used. Even lethal injections can cause suffering. If the liquid is injected into a muscle rather than a vein, the pain may be excruciating. Imagine the pain and grief that both the family of the victim and the family of the one executed would have to go through, knowing that the person they cared so much about had died for nothing. In George's story, 3 children died, all innocent. These deaths caused pointless pain and grief. The person executed may be innocent, or maybe they did commit the crime, but it makes no difference. There'll still be grief caused to both families. Even the family of the victim will feel bad about the execution. They may have wanted revenge, but what they really needed was to be forgiven. Terry Steinberg, the mother of an innocent boy jailed and on death row, who has travelled and spoken against the death penalty, puts this perfectly. There are murders victims' family members, who go through this process thinking they'll feel peace once the revenge of the death penalty is carried out. What I've learned from meeting these people is that you don't feel better in revenge, you feel better in forgiveness. And she is so right. I don't know about you, but I'm a Christian, and I believe in having mercy and forgiveness. I know that's easy for me to say, since I have never had a family member murdered. But I don't think I would ever let someone die for the murder of someone I love. I know that sounds crazy, but I know people can change. They may never get out of prison, but at least they could die feeling sorry for what they did, rather than feeling sorry that they were caught. If they are executed out of the anger of the family, they will never apologize or come to know God. I believe that they deserve our mercy, because we all make mistakes and we all get off track. But if they come to know God, many people in prison or who are on death row will change their mind, and they'll become a better person. They just need that second chance. If they choose to not repent and apologize for what they did, it's up to God to punish them with death, not us. Would you rather kill someone for the wrong they did to you, or get a sincere apology from them, knowing that they are a transformed person? A common belief is it's cheaper to execute someone than to rehabilitate them, and keep them in prison. That, however, is completely false. It costs American taxpayers so much more to keep the death penalty. In an independent study done in Oklahoma, this was found to be the case, with the difference in time, cost, and effort being significant. And wouldn't everyone here agree that the purpose of the death penalty is to stop crime, right? The thing is, it really doesn't. The quote, "the death penalty kills people, not crime," really sums this up. What's the point of killing killers just to prove that killing is wrong? The great injustice known as the death penalty is a long, painful bid for revenge. It leaves families broken and innocent people dead. The death penalty must be stopped. I challenge you on your views of the death penalty. Do you really think it's fair? Do you really think it makes people feel better? The answer for me is no. What about you?